You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my wife and co-host. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hi, everyone. It's going great today.
Excellent. Are you ready for this week's edition of Exploring Anime with Friends, Movie Edition?
Absolutely.
Awesome. This week we will be exploring the world of Summer Wars, a sci-fi action that revolves around a historically powerful family. Filmed in August of 2009. First, we will take a look at the setting, the world that surrounds us, and the giant infrastructure that is Oz. Next, we will meet the family and all the intricate parts and everything that goes to make up this powerful family that we'll be seeing throughout. After that is when we're going to meet our main characters. Yeah, I get it. This is a weird order for us, but we're going to meet our main characters then at that point. And finally, the conflict that arises of summer that causes devastating effects around the world. And if you like what you hear today, remember to check us out on social media. Like, subscribe, and follow. All right, let's just dive right in. Talk to us about Oz.
Oz.
The great and powerful.
Yes, right.
I mean, it is. Like,
it is.
It's
it
more
is
powerful
the great and
than
powerful.
the original Oz.
So, to describe Oz, it's kind of weird because Oz is a lot of things. It's your Gmail account. It's Roblox. It's your taxes. It's everything combined into one. It's your playing. It's your games. It's everything.
Well, I think it was 1 in 6 people did their taxes
did their taxes.
on Oz this past year. It has all your information. It has your e-commerce, your social security, your credit card numbers. It has everything. The avatar that you make on Oz might as well be you, because if that avatar gets hacked, they know everything about you, and they have all the information on you. And yet it's still like a virtual world with virtual shopping malls and fight games and everything.
Yeah,
it's utterly
everything.
insane. And it has these AI guardians that are supposedly supposed to help and protect it.
Giant whales.
Yeah, giant whales that are just flying through the sky. Give us the imagery of the opening scene. Like, talk to us a little bit about what it looks like.
Listen, based on just the box cover, because I had nothing going into this, I was like, oh, this looks like some cool fantasy thing going on. Okay, cool. And it's sci-fi that threw me off a lot. But the main screen itself is white, pristine. The shape of what Oz is, it's kind of curved. It's weird. There's some bright
Water
colors.
Tower.
Water tower? Yeah, okay, water tower. There's some bright colors mixed in there. And as we're watching this opening scene, I'm like, this is not what I expected at all. Not in a bad way, just confused.
And who is the number one gamer in
the number one
in
fighter
Oz? Yeah.
is King Cosma.
King Cosma, a bunny man who just destroys everything that he comes across, and he becomes important later on in this. And the people of the world have gotten so used to it helping them run their lives because, GPS, life support. If you have the information of anyone on there, you can effectively do what they do at their job. So you can control rail schedules. You can control traffic lights. There's so many different things. It's so intricate. And obviously, the number one place that a cyber attack can't happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And
we're
going to go more into that a little bit later. But at the same time, it's also a world that still has very rural areas. Or at least in Japan, there is still some historically great places that are full of grassy meadows and old-time Japanese housing. And when we're not looking into the land of Oz, we are in this rural setting in the countryside where there's just this big, great family house, and they're all coming together. But it starts off in the inner city, and you'll see some reflection to that along the way because, newsflash, a crisis does happen. So you're going to see flashes of how different things happen along the way. And really, it's just kind of insane that this concept works.
Yeah.
Right?
No, yeah.
The way they did it. It's kind of insane that it works. And I think it worked all times. Honestly, I really do think it was very seamless, despite the fact that thinking about it afterwards, it's like, well, how was it so seamless? Why was the viewing so enjoyable? I don't know. I can't explain how it works, but it
works.
All right. So now let's talk about this powerful matriarchal family. But let's go back a little in the history of it first. It's a family of fighters.
Oh, yeah.
A family of fighters and strong women. Talk to us a little bit about their history.
The Giannucci family is really a fantastic family. Like, more than once, they've said that they're used to, like, the uphill battle. They're used to being the underdog. They're used to just, like, not being the winners, but they survived.
There were times of victory. Like, they're a very strong family.
Yes, definitely.
Whenever there was a war, whenever there was a fight, they participated in it.
Yep, and they talk about, like, this generation before us, so many generations before us. They have this huge history of just being involved in what was going on.
Yeah, whenever a crisis arose, whenever a war arose, they were the ones on the front line. And
they were doing it.
Yeah, it didn't matter whether or not they were going to win or lose. It was all about the fight for what they believed in. It's a family full of chips on their shoulder and a family full of strong women, too, right? So, as a matter of fact, where we are at one point in time in the movie, the men are kind of like, the women are so strong that the men got too used to taking a back seat. And you actually get to see them respond during the course of it and reclaim some of their dignity, too. Meanwhile, with the women still being the strong saviors of the family in addition to it, too. Let's talk about one of the powerful women as a whole. Let's talk about the matriarch, the one whose birthday we're getting together for.
We're getting together for great-grandma's birthday. Yay!
Grandma, great-grandma, ma's.
Depends on who you are.
Based on who you are. She's got great-grandchildren there that are marrying age.
Yeah, so she's turning, I think, 90? Is that what?
Yeah, she's turning 90.
Yeah.
So, and it's a big old get-together. Like, I don't know. How many people are there? Like,
jeez, it's a pretty big family.
I mean, they have names for all of them on the wiki page, but I don't even know if all the people that have names got speaking parts. So this is like 30, 40?
Yeah.
And that's so many more that aren't even there, too, right?
Yeah.
So, and the chaos that ensues, just talk to us some about the chaotic scenes of this family getting together. Let's talk about the grandma's personality first.
She's got this very graceful elegance to her. You can tell, like, she's used to being addressed properly and stuff like that. And she's got this awesome power behind her, too. Like, I don't know. I want to be her someday.
Yeah, but she's very kind. She's very powerful. She demands respect.
It's a quiet power.
Yeah, she is someone who you could genuinely look up to. She felt more like a queen than she did just a matriarch of a family. And in her own right, like, this is a historic family. This is a family of fighters. She is a queen.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it comes down to. And she has the phone numbers for everyone. She cares so deeply about everyone.
She's lived so long, too, that, like, she knows so many people outside of the family.
And she's not feeble. She's not weak. She still fights with a strength. Like, at one point in time, she wields a naginata.
Oh my gosh. Is that what that was? I don't remember what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. She wields a naginata in a scene. Like, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
She is literally like, one of her stepchildren really kind of screwed things up. And she pulls out a naginata on him. And she's like, get up off the floor and die honorably.
Yeah, right?
Like, and I'm kind of like, whoa, that's some badass granny.
Yes.
Anything else to say about her?
I want to be here someday.
Fair enough. Like, I can't argue with you there. But yeah, and you see all the chaos that happens when the family gets together. You see kids running around.
Yep.
You see people trying to find quiet areas, locking themselves in closets to be on their computer. You see all the women in the kitchen cooking. You see everyone around the family table at night. You see them crowding around the TV to watch the game because one of the descendants, say, I'm guessing one of her great-grandsons, is an elite pitcher, and they're up for a state championship, or national championship. I'm not even sure which one it was, but like, we get to see the games on this. Oh, it has to be national championship because they're not going to televise high school games like this. I think we saw 3 of his games during the course of the movie. So it has to be college national championships, and he's just pitching his heart out and just showing that fighting spirit that is such an important part of the Giannucci family. So this is truly a great family, and yes, there is fighting, there is arguing, there's always going to be when you're talking about a setting like this, because there's too many different personalities, but there's a general togetherness. They are one, they are family.
Yeah.
And family comes first. Family means everything to them, right?
Family means everything to them.
Anything else you want to say about this before we dive into our more specific members?
I mean, I think you covered it all pretty well. I think you touched on all the good points.
All right, and if you like what you're hearing today, this is something that you're going to have to buy for yourself. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is worth picking up. I think it's worth supporting the studio that has just reached new contracts. And look for this on some streaming service at some point in time. It's going to appear somewhere. If you like what you're hearing on the show, like, subscribe, and follow on our social media. All right, we got a few main characters. We got a few important characters. Talk to us about Natsuki first, because though I feel that Kenji is more painted as the main character, I think that Natsuki is the most important character of the series. It might be a little bit of a co-lead, right?
Yeah, definitely. Natsuki is great-granddaughter, and all around, she's a nice person. She hangs out with, like, 2 of the geeks, so gotta love that.
But she's also the most popular girl in school, too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. She's very pretty. Like, I said that because, like, she's got a lot of stuff going on for her. She's popular. She's pretty. She hangs out with the nerds. That's great. That's wonderful.
Powerful family.
Powerful family. Yeah, that too. The powerful family. One day, she basically knocks on the door of Kenji and his roommate, and she's like, "Hey, I need one of you guys as to come with me. It's a job offer," because neither of them like really have stable jobs. They both work a little bit for Oz, but not in a huge capacity.
I mean, they help keep the Oz servers safe.
Yeah, like either way, it's more like a part-time thing.
Yeah, it's a part-time thing.
So eventually, like, it's decided that Kenji's the one that goes with her, and she doesn't really give him any details. Just like, okay, let's go. We're doing our thing. It's like a little 4 day like vacation. You're coming with me.
Before we go too much further there, you should probably explain Kenji a little too.
I love Kenji. He's a little socially awkward. He's a huge math geek.
But like a true introvert, when you start speaking his language to him, he becomes the most captivating person in the room.
Totally geeks out, nerds out.
I find that when you're dealing with introverts, if you bring up the conversation with them in real life, that is their conversation.
That is their thing.
They are the most extroverted person in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas more often than not, anime introverts have a tendency to be introverts the whole time.
Yeah.
Even with that conversation. I actually feel like Kenji was potentially written by a true introvert.
Could be.
Someone who actually understands.
Yeah, someone who knows.
But a little more about Kenji.
So one cool thing about Kenji is that, like, he's such an absolute math genius that he was going to be, like, part of the representation for Japan in the Math Olympics. He unfortunately didn't get it.
But he's still world-class mathematician.
He was one of the ones.
I guess that's one of the things that makes him so appealing to Natsuki. Appealing enough to drag him out to her family and talk to us a little bit about her introducing him to her great-grandmother.
She's like, "Hi, great-grandma. This is the guy I told you about. He's my boyfriend/fiance." And poor Kenji was like, "Huh, what? Huh? Yes, I am that thing." like he didn't know what to say. Like, and I wouldn't have known what to say. Like,
oh, she put him on the spot so bad.
She should have warned him.
And obviously, there were members of the family that were all for it and all lovey-dovey over it. And there are other members that were kind of like, "You're terrible. Like, I can't believe that she's with you. She never told me. Like, I'm her second cousin, and she tells me everything first." And by the way, he's a police officer too.
Oh yeah, right.
Who plays a little bit more of a role. Quick, talk to us a little more about that exchange while I look for the name. Oh, I found the name. He's Shota. Yeah. He plays a little bit of an antagonist throughout the course of the series. Overall, kind of accept him into the family on the first night. If not, embarrass him and put him on the spot because, there's definitely awkward
kiss.
dinner conversation. It's kind of like, oh, he's a college man, obviously.
Gosh. Oh, my gosh. I'd have been mortified.
Yeah, they're just paid to get... And meanwhile, he's never had a girlfriend before.
No.
So, and he's here with the most popular girl in school. Like, this is definitely one of those things. And so now they're fiancés. And she's like, you could break up with me afterwards.
Like,
and it's like...
She was like, it was for my grandma. She's old, and I wanted her to think that I had my life together, basically. So just pretend just as long, and then I'll say we broke up later.
In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I ain't breaking up with you afterwards.
Yeah, right?
Nope. You can break up with me afterwards. I ain't breaking up with you afterwards.
We're going ring shopping.
Oh, but anyway, so the first night there, he gets a message through Oz, and it's this insane math problem that he has to figure out. And apparently that math problem got sent out around the globe. And when you wake up in the morning, the servers have been hacked.
Completely hacked. It was insane because you see Oz in the beginning. It's this nice, pristine white. And then you see Oz as it was hacked. And it's like graffiti looking all over it. And things are broken. And oof.
Yeah. And his face is all over the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kenji's face is all over the news. I mean, they block out the eyes and everything. Everyone identifies him, and this is enough for Sho to be like, I'm arresting you and bringing you in. Fortunately for him, he couldn't get anywhere on the highway because everything was getting shut down. Meanwhile, as they're trying to figure everything out, and they're all thinking it's like, oh my goodness, he's a con artist, and she has to reveal, oh no, he's not a con artist. I lied.
They dug into like his history.
Yeah.
They like went back and they're like, he's never been abroad and stuff like that.
So she finds out that she gave the backstory to her alleged fiance that of her uncle, the uncle that's a social pariah in the family, who just so happened to have made a AI program called
Love Machine.
And tell us about Love Machine.
Love Machine was made for hacking. He 100% made it to be a hacking AI. And he wanted to sell it to, at that point, he was in the U.S., so he wanted to sell it to the U.S. government. And the U.S. government was like, well, we got to test this thing first, but we're probably going to buy it. So they unleashed it, and it was unleashed on Oz.
Yeah, they tested on Oz, which, I'm thinking World War got started after this.
I would have thought,
I'm not even sure.
Like, what the heck?
Because this is a lot of crap happened as a result of this. But really, when it came down to it, this got unleashed there, and it sent out the math problem to solve to the world's greatest mathematicians and whatnot, so that it could hack into the servers. 55 people got it correct. Fortunately, Kenji wasn't one of them because he actually had a typo when sending it back. So he gets cleared of all criminal charges, and it's realized that it's the AI that's doing all this. Love Machine is doing all this, and it's shutting down everything. It's shutting down train schedules, the devices that seniors wear around their neck to notify.
Buttons.
They're just going off all over the place when there's no emergencies whatsoever. So many emergencies are getting called in, and so many members of his family work in those fields because they're used to being a family that has influence in society. So they're being run non-stop because everything is just going off. And the more things that Love Machine defeats, the more people it attacks, the more powerful it becomes.
Yes.
And it soon becomes very powerful and very unstoppable. And at first they're thinking it's kind of like, it's a shame that he's keeping people away. But Grandma does something, and she starts calling everyone.
Every single person.
Talk to us about that beautiful scene.
That scene was amazing. She's like, it's like that calling a favor vibe.
Yeah.
Where you're just a person who's so well connected. You're just calling people, but like, what are you going to do about it? You can do something to change this. You can do something to get this back. And then she calls another person's like, I know we're in a tight spot, but really, you can try. And like, the tone she takes with certain people was amazing. Like, she was firm with some, she was comforting with others, she was kind of nonchalant with some, and she just calls every single person that she has ever had a social influence with and is like, we've got to get this fixed. This is a problem. People are going to die if this keeps going.
Yeah. And they all eventually get together, and they find out that it was her husband's illegitimate child. Found out that it was him that made it, and that's when the scene with the Naginata happens, and she just basically chases him off at that point in time. Like, she is upset because people are getting hurt because of the thing that he created. And he's trying to explain, I'm not the one that unleashed this on the world. I'm the one who just sold it to try to bring wealth back to the family that your son squandered and lost from the family. So they all turn on him, with the exception of his niece, who, frankly, she's a little bit of an unhealthy admiration of her uncle. So
a little bit.
But at the same time, I think once again, it's just Natsuki admiring his genius. So, and everything's going through, and, it's at this point in time when the grandmother sees how good Kenji is with math and how quickly he's trying to help solve these problems and everything. She asks him to be the one who will be there for Natsuki. She knows it was a fake relationship, but she really wants it to be a real relationship.
Yeah.
And together play a game together.
I don't know. I at first thought it was Mahjong, but it's called Koi Koi. And they're played with cards, and there's like I've never played this one. It's similar aspects to Mahjong where you're trying to match up the cards or the tiles. And he's a beginner. He was like reading the instructions as Natsuki and her uncle were playing it a little earlier on. And she's just trying to be like kind of encouraging to him.
Yeah, and it's just kind of beautiful. And at that moment, we didn't realize it at the time, but we were watching her final moments.
Yeah.
Because during the night after that game and everything, the one son who gets all the notifications through Oz about her life support and the health of her heart and everything, his Oz account was down. It was hacked.
Was one of the ones that was hacked, yeah.
And because they didn't know that she was having heart issues during the course of the night, she didn't wake up the next day.
Yeah.
They're experiencing this loss and this tragedy, and there's emotions and everything being argued and fought over. And at the peak of these emotions and everything, they're still realizing that there's a crisis going on in the world, but there's also a funeral that needs to be done. And for some of them, family comes first. And for others, the world comes first. For others, the fight will always be the thing. So you see the argument, and it's just becoming worse as they're all trying to work together. You find out that one of the members of the family, Kazuma, he actually is
King Cosma.
Yeah, he is King Cosma the rabbit, and he's
just a young kid too,
going to war against everything. And the big thing that really it all is coming down to, while he's doing battle against Love Machine and while the family is doing battle against each other, Love Machine takes over someone who has nuclear codes. It's the codes to a satellite that is now crashing down towards Earth.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to leave you guys. The family is in disarray at this point in time. Part of the Earth is in danger. You don't know what nuclear facility this satellite's going to hit, but it's going to take out millions, hundreds of millions of lives. It's going to start a war. Things are going to get out about Love Machine eventually, and that's going to start a world war. Everything is just falling apart. And the family has lost their matriarch. They've lost their direction in a way. They've lost their way, their sense. It looks like everything's falling apart, and you see how this family of underdogs takes the fight to the front line. That's where we're going to leave it. Anything you have to say about Summer War in conclusion?
I mean, it was fantastic. It took me on such a wild journey, and I absolutely loved it. There was one scene in particular where they're trying to prepare for this. One of the I don't know, brothers, cousins, I don't know who it is, brings in like this supercomputer. And one of the other, like, could have been Kenji, was like, you're in like the defense for like Japanese defense security, whatever. Like, well, what do you do? And like, he smiles, and it's just like a very long dramatic pause. And then finally he's like, it's classified. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that dude's cool. So random little thing that I really liked about it. But as a whole though, excellent. I loved every bit of it. I couldn't take my eyes off it.
And honestly, I think the thing that really just kind of stuck with me the most, it's like how many times they foreshadowed something versus how many times they used the mechanic of foreshadow to deceive you from what was happening.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because I'm thinking to myself, it's like, these movies don't all end happy. And they're bringing up family that has experienced loss enough times. Mm-hmm. There's a very real chance these guys just decide to take the nuke on themselves to save the world, and everyone else is spared as a result of it. Once again, I just thought that they played everything off of it really well. I don't know how it all makes sense. I don't know how
it just does, though.
In some ways it felt like it was times of the shogunate, but at the same time you're diving into a future that we're not really even quite at yet at this point in time. This was made back in 2009. The vision going forward of the scary AI machine, because frankly AI could be terrifying for some people. Honestly, AI can be terrifying, and for those it's not terrifying for. Like, you probably haven't, delved into it as much as some other people. Really, I thought it just did a great job of melding together a ton of things that I didn't necessarily think would meld together at all.
Yeah.
Once again, we explored the world of Summer Wars, and we took a look at the great machine that is Oz. Afterwards, we met this very powerful Janucci family, and then we met our main characters and the big conflict that defines the events of this summer. We hope you had as much fun exploring the world of Summer Wars as we did, and you consider watching this movie. So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts. And hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. Binbuster. Live from YouTube, it's Tuesday night, the call sign of the Binbuster YouTube channel. Once you hear this, you know you're about to embark on a journey through pop culture, movies, comics, and more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST. Poppin' Cinema with Joe Mama and friends. Showcasing the power of cinema, join Joe Mama as he introduces different friends each week to a movie they have not seen before, popping their cinematic cherry as they talk about the movie they just watched every Tuesday at midnight.